Welcome to SenseMi Smart Metering Head-End System and Dashboard for Hybrid SYNC200 Communication Module.
So to begin with, this is our login screen. I'm just going to log in. Initially, after you log in, you will be faced with this dashboard screen, where you'll be able to see at a glance all of the important data, especially with the map view. You'll be able to see which meters are active in which locations. You can even click on the specific meter to get to that meter. Also, by clicking on the coverage button, which is located above the map, you can see signal coverage in each area on live map. In terms of other data, you can see the total number of devices activated, number of devices online, how many readings are performed per day, and all of the important alerts. You can also see all of the systems are active. Then we move forward to the devices page. Here, you'll be able to see a table of all of the devices with a brief glance of the data. If I click on a specific device, you'll be able to see the specific data regarding that device. Our meters are capable of communicating with our servers via NB-IoT, LoRaWAN, and M-Bus, wireless or wired. Using any of those communication methods, the meter can send and receive data from our server. All of this data that you can see here has been received wirelessly through the network. At a glance, you can see here the initial data, for example, the consumption readings, so the volume, temperature, battery, signal level, the valve status, if the valve is open or closed, if the meter has been tampered with, and specifically what type of tamper it is. You can also see some analytics for the data. If I go to meter config, you'll be able to set some values and send some commands to the meter. For example, you can configure the meter to turn on and send a transmission of data like every 5 minutes to every 24 hours. If you want to receive more data from the meter, we can set an interval which is much faster, or if you need to conserve battery life, you can set it to something longer like 24 hours. We can also set the data format here, so using LWM2M, which consumes very less battery to send the data. It's a data protocol which is very secure and uses very little data to transport very detailed amount of information to our servers and back and forth. We can also link the device with LoRaWAN. Our devices are capable of communicating with NB-IoT, which is the main form of communication, but we can also configure them to use LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN is a long-range, wide-area network communication method which uses gateways. So the meters communicate with the gateways, and the gateway is connected to internet. So the gateway transmits the data from the meters back to our servers. We can also set the meters to automatically fall back to LoRaWAN if there is any network issues with NB-IoT. After you add the ID of the LoRaWAN module, we can save it and the LoRaWAN module will be activated. We can also control the valve status from this page. We can remotely close and open the valve using these buttons. We can also send some other commands. Clearing pulse, meaning we can start the meter from 0. Clearing tamper, which means if there's any tamper that happened, we can clear it so that the meter is back to a green status. Set offset, meaning if we're replacing an old meter with our SenseMi smart meters, we can continue the reading from the same reading that we left off. You can also see the brief history of the commands. You can see the alarms if we need to customize anything or disable the alarms. If we go to the settings, you can just change a few basic things. You can change the name of the device, you can edit the type, you can also add the location values, which will add the meter to the map. Similar thing here. These are LWM2M objects. This is how the data protocol works. If I click this, you can see the individual data formats. You can see here, this is the object for accumulated gas volume. You can see tamper detector, tamper type, temperature, for example. All of these things are based on the LWM2M protocol, which is highly secure and uses way less data and way less battery to transport.
SenseMi communication modules support DLMS too, if preferred. We can change the protocol from LWM2 to DLMS and read DLMS objects instead.
Operators in the field can use an optical reader to communicate with the meter to get the data in DLMS format, also wirelessly. Similar thing with M-Bus. We can set the meter to use wireless or wired M-Bus. Here's the firmware page where we can, over the air, we can upgrade the firmware. When the meter wakes up next to perform transmission, it will receive the signal from the server that we need to upgrade firmware. Whatever firmware file we upload here, the meter will start downloading it and perform the upgrade automatically over the air. You'll also be able to see all of the historical data for the meter. At a specific point in time, what was the accumulated gas volume, what was the battery level, etc. You can also see the historical alerts, and you can edit the specific display. If you don't require to use temperature, you can remove it from the main screen. This is the metering point menu, where you can add the specific metering point data regarding the actual installation. You can add some customer data like building code, apartment code, the location. This data is available through our API, so you can integrate it into your ERP system easily. Whatever serial number you search in this, it will show up on the bottom, and you can assign that specific meter with a specific apartment number, building number, location, etc. Or if the meter is not activated yet, you can still create this and add it to your ERP network, and when the meter gets activated, it will automatically be linked with the specific metering point. Here is the map view, where you'll be able to see an overview of where everything is installed and if everything is green or there are some issues. You can also see the gateways for the LoRaWAN. Here's the alerts page, where you can see a consolidated view of all of the alerts present in the system. You can also group certain meters into a special group so that you can easily manage them. Your specific operators can have a view of this page where they can see the battery level at a glance, signal level if there's any need to replace the battery or fix the signal level, or if there's any tamper that occurred and that they need to go in person and check if there's any issues.
You can also do a bulk over-the-air upgrade for multiple meters at the same time. So we can upload a firmware file and click Select All, and all of these meters will get upgraded.
This is the dashboard for our head-end system.
So it uses all of these different types of communication protocols, and we can easily monitor the status of the system. Similar thing for our gateways and devices for LoRaWAN. Here's some configurations we can do on the back end regarding the LWM2M objects, and just in general the settings for the dashboard. Here is one of our more powerful settings, which is Customize Rules for Alert. We can add a specific rule which can use any of these different metrics. So, for example, we can set a specific rule which uses signal strength, and we can set it that if the signal strength is less than a specific value, and we can do critical warning, and it will occur every 60 minutes, and it will have this specific name. So you can create specific alerts for any of these different data values that we have available. You can also create new users and assign different roles for them where they can only view certain devices or certain groups of devices, so that you can easily assign operators to a specific building or specific area or city.
So that was the SenseMi Smart Meter Dashboard and SenseMi SYNC200 Hybrid Communication Module.